66 for Jon Rahm, and he made it look effortless. So with this theme of 1 versus 2, and Collin with a chance, and Collin playing pretty well today, not lights out, it may be obvious, just that they're really both quite good. But what do they have in common, Rahm and Morikawa?
Well, I think you've talked about this in your various interviews that you've had with Jon Rahm. There's a maturity about him. There's a depth to him. Certainly understands the history of the game.
Yeah.
And that was clear, him staying in school. I think Paige McKenzie did a nice report about this earlier, about both how them stayed in school. That's not to slight players turning pro early. Tiger turned pro early. Certainly didn't hold him back at all, but I think it speaks more to the depth of their outlook on life, that golf isn't the be-all, end-all in their lives. And perhaps that will aid them well in the balance of their lives.
Yeah, they both seem to have good foundations, technically with what they do with their golf swings, but also, maybe more importantly, with their approach to life and the sport.
They do, and that's wonderful in terms of navigating their way through the hurdles of life. But in terms of navigating their way through the hurdles of a golf course, what they have is a great foundation of ball striking.
Yeah, and they both hit it.
They're both extraordinary. Yeah. I mean, Collin Morikawa, outside of Tiger Woods, and he's in a league of his own. You're talking about Collin Morikawa. He's a statement maker. You can almost go back and look at almost every single win that he had. When he won at Workday, he made a big statement bowing up after Justin Thomas made the putt, made a big statement at the PGA with the drive at the 16th hole, made big statements with the way he worked his way through the round at Concession, made a big statement at the Open, coming in there having not played particularly well the week before, but hit those stellar iron shots on Sunday. Jon Rahm, similarly, he birdied the last 2 holes to win the U.S. Open. That doesn't happen very often. You have to go back to sort of Tom Watson, birdie in 17 and 18, 1982, to see players at a young age with the maturity, with the game, to handle the biggest moments.
Can't count how many times in our newsroom, which we love, where we say, hey, let's calm down. Let's not let the train get too far down the tracks. When we get excited about a player who's maybe won a major, you will quickly remind me and anybody who wants to listen how fleeting it can be. So with respect to these two guys, I see players that appear to be, and don't they always, but when they're playing this well, but appear to be built for the long haul. Convince me that I'm wrong.
There are just a lot of hurdles on the way to building a superstar. I mean, you would have never guessed that Jordan Spieth's game would have fallen off. You would have never guessed that Rory McIlroy wouldn't win a major championship since 2014 to right now. It was, how many times did we have the debate, if they're playing their best, who's the best player, Dustin Johnson or Rory McIlroy? We're not going to have that debate right now at the moment. Right now it's more Rahm, Morikawa. The game will give you superstars. They come, and form is vapor-like. It takes so much out of you psychologically, physically, emotionally, to stay at the top. And if any part of your game or your life comes out of whack, you lose that edge and people blow by you.
Jaime thinks that we have a chance for a real rivalry here between Morikawa and Rahm, just at least the way they compete and contend as much as they do. Do you see it that way? Why or why not?
Well, certainly. As I've said a million times, I mean, nothing predicts success like winning major championships at an early age, and certainly that's the case 2 out of 8 major championships with Collin Morikawa. I don't see either of them changing their golf swing. I don't see either of them making that mistake. Rory's made that mistake. Jordan Spieth made that mistake. I don't see either of them changing their physique drastically. Brooks Koepka has made that mistake, and I think it caused him some injuries. Rory made that mistake, and it caused him some injuries. They've worked things out. They're training differently. They're training better now. But I don't see them making those mistakes, and I don't see them having the existential hurdles. They've got their life well in line off of the golf course. Both of them got their wits about them. So, yeah, there was a lot of reasons to be bullish about these two going head-to-head for a great while.
It is uber competitive right now. I mean, you could see a scenario maybe where Patrick Cantlay pushes these two guys and ends up the year as the #1 player in the world. Who knows? But are you comfortable saying that these are the 2 best players in the world? The numbers, the rankings say that, yes, they are, but look, take all that out. Are they the 2 best players in the world?
Rory could go on a run. Dustin Johnson could go on a run. I'm not convinced that Brooks Koepka, is not going to find his way back to the form that won him major championships. They could go on a run. There is nobody who is far and away. There's no Tiger Woods on the horizon, if that's what you're talking about. It's more normal to have parity at the top, and we have parity at the top.
So they have not really separated themselves
Look,
in a substantial way.
Yeah, I mean, you separate yourself from wins, but before you get the wins, you start doing things that nobody else is doing. You're hitting shots that nobody else is hitting. You have the consistency that nobody else is hitting. You see it coming. You hear the Niagara Falls before you see it, and I don't see that on the horizon right now. I thought we were going to see it with Rory. His game has been beautiful, no doubt. I mean, I'm not saying he has played poorly, but he hasn't played the type of golf that won him those major championships really since 2014.
I'm bullish on the idea that Jon Rahm can be entrenched at #1 for a long period of time.
A lot of people feel that way.
And I also think that Morikawa, and this may be stating the obvious, I think he's built to win majors. Pick off, I'll be conservative, 1 every 2 years, which would put him in pretty tall company.
There's only 4 years.
But 1 every 2 years for the next 4 or 5 while he's on this sort of flush run where he seems to have it all together and a clear picture.
Look, I'm a huge fan of his golf swing, but on balance, the putter is very spotty.
Except when he has to make
I understand that.
When he has to make a big putt, then it's not so spotty. I mean, he made him at the Open, at St. George's. He made him at Harding Park.
I hear you.
He makes putts when he has to, and the end, isn't that the mark of a good putter? The biggest championships, when you need it, you get it.